What's going on, everyone? This is Sportin Cannabis and CBD, and I'm your host, William Smith. Today I have the very nice privilege of interviewing Brett, head of Snowboarder. So Brett, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Just to kind of get started, we have a lot of things to talk about. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where do I start? So, born and raised in Southern California, kind of grew up normal life, and then for me, it just became a battle of like different medical things kind of being thrown my way. At the age of 7, I had a hip disorder, so we had to go in there and kind of do a surgery to replenish that. And after that, kind of everything was good. But then my life really changed when I was about 12 or so. I got a neurological disorder that ended up paralyzing me for 2 years from the neck down. I mean, when I say paralyzed, I mean that. I mean, I couldn't eat, couldn't take sheets off me, couldn't get dressed. And so that was my life for quite a few years. But slowly, medicines and everything kind of just started to come along. I was able to kind of get back to somewhat of a normal life. Missed out on a lot, but, always wanted to do something. And finally, just growing up, going through more surgeries, as you can imagine, being paralyzed for that long affects your knees, your legs. And so just figuring out ways to get through life. I still was able to graduate high school, graduate college, and just do as much as I can with what I could. But as I got stronger and better, it all kind of started from my brother. He had the love for the outdoors, the love for snowboarding, and he really introduced it to me when I was paralyzed. I couldn't do anything, but he was working at the local mountain. He'd come home and we'd talk about it. We'd watch snowboard videos and do all that, just to keep something positive, reinforcement, and for me going. And I always told myself, I'm going to do that one day. Like, for sure I am. Like, I know I'm going to beat this and come through it. And I did. And so I started slowly getting into that, getting back to somewhat of a normal life. But as you can imagine, like I said, just being paralyzed for that long, it really affected my ankles. I had multiple surgeries on each of my ankles. And finally, it came down. I was trying to become independent. It came down to me and was like, what's going to give me the best quality of life? And for me, it was the decision to amputate my left leg below the knee. And honestly, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. From that point on, I was able to get back into the gym, able to lose weight, get more fit, and like really get into snowboarding. And that's like when I began training for the Paralympic team and competitively snowboarding and just living my life to the fullest, and just kind of getting my life back, and been doing that for the past 5-6 years. And along the way, there's going to be injuries, and for me, it seems like things never stop. And so just last season, my right knee has always been an issue. So ended up having a major surgery on that actually ended up failing. I got one day on the snow this year and blew it out. And so I talked with a lot of people, and another probably biggest decision in my life, kind of same thing. What's going to give me the best quality of life? So 8 weeks ago, yesterday, I decided to amputate my right leg at the knee. Haven't been back on the mountain yet, but we're right on track, and there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be there in less than a month.
That's really inspirational. All the things that you faced, and that you're going to get back on the mountain, and that's your goal. And I think, I have a brother too. He goes to school in Southern California, and I think it's awesome that growing up you had that interest with your brother and that drive to really chase something. So I really think that's awesome. Kind of going off that, through all the surgeries and stuff like that, when exactly did you get into cannabis?
So I definitely never used it when I was younger. Never. It was, to me, my parents raised me on, it's taboo. Like, this is, it's addicting. It's gateway. And right before I decided to have my first leg amputated back at the end of 2014, obviously I was older. I could make my own decisions. And so I started doing a lot of research on it and kind of just dabbling into it, seeing what works for me, if it did work, how it would help my pain. Kind of tried everything there, and it worked some, but I wasn't super consistent with it. And then I had my surgery. And so I'd say kind of right around 2016, maybe a year and a half, 2 years after my surgery, I really started doing my research and kind of just going out and finding different products that I wanted to try topicals and ointments, and I tried smoking a little, but that wasn't for me. And
Hmm.
so I liked to use things that were a lot of CBD based and a little bit of THC, but mostly salves and creams and tinctures and CBD gummies, like things like that, that would allow me to get the benefit and the relief from it, but not, have the psychoactive effect and still be able to go out on the mountain and perform and do things like that. And so it was just a matter of trial and error. And, sooner or later I found what works for me, and it was a game changer for me, especially when I am really like in season competition mode and training mode. It's part of my everyday routine, just getting up, using those specific products. And there are many times when I'd go and snowboard for multiple hours and then come back and my body was hurting, my ankles were hurting, and just be like, man, I don't even know if I can get around and walk. And kind of use those, lay down and watch TV for 20 minutes. I'd get up and it's like I never stepped foot on the mountain, just complete relief. And I know 100% that's what has allowed me to keep pushing through in order to be able to accomplish the things that I have.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you were able to find something that works for you and you're able to implement that into your everyday life for sure. So kind of going off that, were you skeptical of it? Was it something that you kind of wanted to stay away from? Because I know there's a bunch of different options when you go through surgeries like that. How did you kind of, I guess, come full circle with it?
Definitely was a little skeptical in the beginning, like I said, just because parents raised me. I know this is taboo, don't do this, but this was way back when they grew up. And as I put my time in and researched and saw all the medical benefits that come from it and how it alleviates pain and stiffness and promotes healing and all the benefits that come from it, using it properly, I was like, I've tried everything else and nothing else is working. So there's going to be no harm in this. They put every drug in my body to try to help me. It's not going to be anything, that I can't handle. And the more I tried out stuff, the more I became comfortable with things. And then kind of as it, CBD kind of started coming around more, became more mainstream, definitely was feeling more comfortable. And then, like I said, finding the products that I knew were going to benefit me, but not take that psychoactive effect on me. I just became more and more comfortable. And for me, from when I started looking around, I use, pretty much the same things, that I found in the beginning that I do now. Those things have just, I'm sure that there could be things other that may help, but right now, those are the things that really work for me. And it's still, even now while I'm recovering, it's part of my everyday routine. I've seen firsthand what that stuff can do. And I try to get people away from that stigmatism, that taboo-ness, because if you really use it how it's supposed to and you take the benefits for it, it can definitely be a life-changing thing for someone.
That was a great answer. You kind of beat me to my next question, which was, what would be your message to just people and athletes who maybe are seeking out that type of avenue to recover and, who are skeptical of it? Because, not everyone, like you said, there is that little stigma of, is this the right way to go about things? So definitely, that's awesome that, you're able to do your research and really use that for recovery. You said you had the surgery how long ago?
My most recent surgery was 8 weeks ago yesterday. So we're on the perfect timeline. I mean, I live in Colorado right now. I'm out in Florida.
Okay.
That's where I had the surgery, and I've been recovering here since December 2nd. But I see the people that are going to be making my prosthetic legs every day. There's a full gym in there. Go get my full workout in. Seeing physical therapist 3 times a week. And so I'm doing everything on my part so that when, everything is ready to get up and go, which is actually going to be Monday, the rest of my body's just falling right into place. But we're hitting the timeline. Everything looks good. As crazy as it can kind of sound, we had the surgery on December 2nd, and we're hoping to have me back competing, if not the end of this month, first week in March.
Wow, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, hats off to you. That's awesome.
The biggest thing that I've really recognized from this surgery is how much the benefit can be. When I came out of this surgery, of course, typical surgery, they just want to pump you full of narcotics. And that's not my style. That stuff is poison. That stuff can do so much damage to someone's body, to someone's mind. And I told myself, I'll take it when the first week, get me out of that severe pain. There just came a point where I was like, nope, this stuff is poison. Like, I'm not going to keep doing. And I made a cold turkey stop on it and just started using CBD products and products with a little bit of THC to rub on it, and haven't ever taken a pain pill since. And I go back to the doctor every time and they're like, so how much pain medicine are you taking? I'm like, I'm not taking anything. They're like, you taking nerve pain, or you like, what are you doing to be out of pain? I'm like, honestly, these are the products I use, and that's all that I do. And they're like, wow, okay, so you aren't taking anything. I'm like, yep, don't take a pill. And every time I go in to see my prosthetist, he's like, I've never seen someone heal like this. He's like, I can walk you today if I want, but he's like, I'm just going to be smart because this is all I know. I haven't seen someone heal this quick. You're at the beginning of 8 weeks and you look like you're ready to go, and there's no pain. And I 100% attribute all that to this. And since I've really become like into it and, using it as pain relief, using it as medical benefit, every surgery I come out of, any injuries or anything like that, as much as I've been through, I heal really quick. And I think that there's a reason for that. I don't think it's just coincidence. And I spread my knowledge to everyone I know, because I know people can have issues and troubles getting off of pain pills. And I'm like, hey, this worked for me. If you want to try it, like, it's safe, it'll help. And so that's what I've been trying to do as I snowboard and as I kind of go around and take my story places.
That's awesome. The consistency and how fast you've healed. And I think your story is something that inspires not only myself, but plenty of other people. And, it's awesome that you do pay forward your knowledge about the positives and things like that. So, your whole story is awesome. I'm rooting for you the whole way, just as everyone else is. So that's pretty much all I have for you. But I just want to say thank you for joining the podcast and taking the time to talk to me. It's been awesome to get to know your story and just the journey that you're continuing to go on. I think great things are ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I thank you guys for taking the time to have me here. And if any of y'all want to follow my journey, the rest of the healing process, getting through back on the mountain, goal still is 2022 Winter Paralympics. I feel good about it. I have no doubt that I'll be there, but I'm all over social media. So if you guys want to follow along, feel free.
Awesome. Do you want to just tell everyone what your Instagram handle is?
Yeah, so my handle is B as in Bravo, and then B, and then my last name. So BBOTELHO 10, B Botelho 10. I think my little icon's probably some guy snowboarding or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it gets, right now I'm really focusing on kind of taking everyone through the process of like kind of behind the scenes. A lot of times we see on social media, it's like, oh, here's what happened, and then here's the finished product, and it's like, oh, that's cool, but you don't really get to see like what effort goes behind it, what pain goes behind it, what routines you use. And so I'm doing like a good effort into kind of following along and using the products that I do. The biggest thing that's been helpful for me is Mary Jane's medical salve. That thing has changed my life for sure. Anyone who's looking for relief, that's where to go. That thing, I put that on and I don't have pain. And so, but yeah, it's kind of my full story. So if you guys want to see it through, catch a little more, but I really appreciate you taking the time out of your guys' day.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for joining us. You're an inspiration, and we're looking forward to, the continued progress.
I appreciate it. You guys, you have a good one.